Hello everyone. My name is Vansh Jaiswal and welcome to my YouTube channel. Okay. Today I'm going to talk about a very important thing that is called as a fear of programming. There are so many students and so many people which always thinks that they cannot write the program or they cannot do the coding. Okay, programming is something which is very difficult for them. They cannot understand it. Those syntax, those special characters are just like a nightmare for them. And today in this tutorial, I'm going to help you that how you can actually remove your fear of programming and you can start learning the programming concepts. Okay, so let's start this particular session. So first of all, we have to understand that why programming is important. What is the main role of the programming? Okay, so programming, the first important point and the very crucial point about the programming is that analytical ability. Okay, so by solving the questions of programming, you can actually enhance your analytical ability. Why? Because into the programming, we have the problem which require analytical skills. So you have to analyze the problem. Okay. You have to analyze the different scenarios revolving around that particular problem. And that is what going to help you to enhance your analytical ability. The second important point is problem solving skills. Okay, since into the programming we are trying to solve some problem. Okay, so whenever you are trying to solve some problem, this will enhance your problem solving ability. Okay, after some practice and after some time, your problem solving skills will be enhanced a lot. And the third and the most profitable point is that it will make you a job ready person. So when I'm saying the job ready person, so if you are in a college right now or doing your graduation or you already passed your college and you are looking for a job or you are already working. If you are a non-programmer, then if you add this particular skill, okay, so it will give you two benefits, which is analytical ability and the problem solving skill. Apart from that, the good skills in the programming will help you to get a better job. How to overcome the fear of programming? Okay, how I can actually overcome this fear? How I can understand those very critical syntax. Okay, a lot of special character, lot of symbols are there. Okay, how I'm able to understand those characters or understand that particular language. Okay, so those critical characters, those kind of syntax and those special characters are actually just a syntax. Okay, so syntax is something which you can learn easily. I will talk about the syntax a bit later, but the main point about the programming is that programming is pretty simple concept. Okay, there is no need of making it too complex or too difficult. Okay, when you are at a beginner level, programming is something which is very much simple. Now, how it is very simple, let's try to understand that and how you can actually overcome that fear. So the first thing about the programming is actually the real world simulation. Okay, when I'm saying the real world simulation means whatever the things that you are doing in the real life, okay, you can do the same thing into the programming as well. Okay, there is nothing we are doing into the programming which is not possible in the real world scenario. So it is kind of a simulation of your real world. Okay, so everything that is happening around us or what we are doing can actually become a program. Okay, so second point is that since it is a simulation of the real world, okay, so that actually going to help you in understanding each and every concept of the programming language by some real world example. Okay, you can understand every single concept by taking or by relating it with some real world examples. Okay, and when something is related with real world example, then it is very easy to understand. Now let me give you a very short demo. Okay, a one small problem statement that I have, that is something which we are doing into the real life as well, and we are doing this into the programming world as well. Okay, so in this particular scenario, if you can see that I have a question: if your partner is ready for coffee date, then you will go for it. Otherwise, you will stay at home, right? So if your girlfriend or your boyfriend is actually ready for a coffee date, then only you will go on a coffee shop, any coffee shop, Starbucks, Cafe Coffee Day, or any other coffee shop that you have at your place. Okay, then only you will go and have some coffee with your loved one. Now, if that person says no, he or she is not available, then you will sit at home. Correct? So there is a condition, right? If your person or if your partner is actually ready for a coffee date, then only you will go for a coffee date. Otherwise, you will stay at home. So there are two possible scenarios, and if the condition is satisfied, then only you will do the other thing. So that is the same thing I can write into the Python as well with a very simple conditional statement. So into the Python, we have a one thing called as a conditional this statement. Now I'm trying to replicate the same thing into a programming language. Okay. So if my partner is ready, equal ready, that means is equal to in Python. Okay. So if partner is ready, then I'm saying it's a date time. Else, I'm going to say my partner is a boring person, right? Now, let's understand one more example. So, some of us definitely loves biryani, and but some of us do not eat biryani on Tuesdays, right? So, what happens is if you are going for a party with your hangout with your friends, okay? So, if today is Tuesday, then I will eat paneer tikka. Otherwise, I will eat biryani, right? So this is something which happens with a lot of people. Some people do not eat non-veg on a particular day. Okay, so they check if the day is Tuesday, then they are not going to eat biryani. They will have paneer. Okay, and if it is not Tuesday, then voila, it's biryani time. So the same thing I actually replicated in the programming scenario as well. Okay, so if my day is Tuesday, then print, let's order paneer tikka this time. Else, I'm going to order biryani. Suppose I have a cards. Some of the cards I have: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I have 10 different cards over here, and on every card I have written some numbers. Okay, that is 58, 64, 71, 84, 49, 92, 48, 56, 39, and 74. Right? Now, if I ask you, can you find the minimum number for me? So, if you are going to look for it, then after some time, after some small competition, you will actually be able to find the minimum number. Okay, so in this case, my minimum value is 39, right? Now, here comes the most important thing about the programming. And this is something where you will actually able to understand that how you can start learning about the programming without any fear. Okay, so if I ask you, just rewind the whole thing a little back, okay, and assume that you don't know the minimum value. Okay, so the moment you saw this question, what is the first step that you have done? So you have to find the minimum value. Okay, so how you started the process? So if you focus on the steps that your brain is taking to solve this particular problem, the things will be very easier for you. Okay, now how to do that? So what your brain actually does is, first of all, it just takes the first number and then it simply starts comparing the numbers. Okay, so I'm assuming that 58 is the smallest number, then it will come to 64. So which one is the smallest? 58. So my minimum value is 58. Then you compared 71, then you compared 84, then you compared 49. The moment you reached 49, okay, you simply updated in your mind that okay, now my minimum value is 49. Then you again start comparing with the next card, which is 92. 49 is still smaller. You got 48, which is the next one. So you will update the minimum value again and you will say, okay, 48 is minimum. Now you will check with other card and the next card. So 56 is greater, no updation. And when you reach 39, then you find, okay, 39 is smaller than 48. So you will simply update the value of the minimum with 39 in your brain. And then you found the last card, which is 74. So at the end of this process, what you actually got, the minimum value is 39. So if you closely see this particular process, what actually happened is that you since you have to understand the steps for the programming, you have to understand the steps that your brain is taking to solve any problem. Okay, you actually solve this problem in just a second by simply looking into it. But at the back end of your brain actually computed this minimum value by the process that I explained. But it was so super fast that you did not realize the step. So what you have to do into the programming is you have to understand the process, that how you are solving a particular problem. So first of all, you have to solve the problem. Once you solve that particular problem, then what you have to do is you have to write down the steps. Okay, that how you actually solve that particular problem. Okay, so first you take a one card, then you start comparing it with the other card. And if the card is smaller, the newer card is smaller than the first card, then you simply say, okay, now this is my new minimum. And that's how you compare each and every card from this particular deck. Okay, and at the end, because and every time you updated the value whenever you find a new card which is smaller than the previous smaller. Okay, so at the end of this iteration, you actually found the card which is minimum. Okay, so that's the whole process. So if I have an array or I have a list into the Python or into other programming language, you have to use the similar approach. Okay, so in this case, I have written a small Python program for this question is list and then I have my values. Okay, then what I'm taking my first value as my minimum value and then I'm simply iterating on this list using a for loop, and then if my value, a newer value is smaller than the minimum value, then I'm simply updating my minimum value. Okay, and then at the end of my loop I'm printing the minimum value. Some of you who are not from the programming background or who do not have the idea, you guys may not able to understand this code right now, but don't worry about it. I will upload a whole Python playlist by and I will explain each and every concept with the real world example and with a lot of examples that you can simply relate with directly. Okay, so this is how you can solve a problem or you can approach towards a problem, right? Now, the next thing that we have to understand is how to approach any programming problem. Okay, so step one is you just need to understand the problem statement first and then try to solve it on paper. Okay, do not try to start writing the code by when the moment you got the problem, do not just start writing the code. Okay, just take the pen and paper and try to solve that problem just like you are solving an algebra problem in your school. Okay? Once you solve that particular problem, then figure out each and every step that you have taken to solve the problem from the beginning to end. Okay? And the steps that you are taking to solve that particular problem will eventually help you to write the code for that particular problem statement. Okay? So it's a very simple thing. First of all, you have to understand the problem statement. Then the second thing is you have to solve it using pen and paper. Do not think that you are writing a code or anything. Consider it just a simple problem that is coming in front of you. Okay. Now, once you solve that particular problem, then try to understand each and every step of that particular problem. Okay. After that, replicate those steps into the programming language. Okay, this is something which is applicable for each and every programming language. I'm not specifically talking about Python, I'm talking about each and every programming language because this is called as a logic building. Okay, so in every programming language you requires a logic. Okay, so whenever you require a logic, logic is something which is not going to change when you are changing the programming language. If you are writing something in Java, C, C++, Python, everywhere your logic is going to be same. So logic is something, what is this logic? A lot of programming world or this programming terminology is very popular among the students and among the professors or among the teachers is that what is this logic, okay, or you have to work on logic or just give me the logic. So the logic is actually the steps that you are taking to solve that particular problem. Okay, and every programming problem is actually solved by by a logic. Okay, now the point is if you have to develop a logic which is something that you can turn on pen and paper, then what's into the programming? So program into the programming we have nothing, we just have the syntax. Okay, we have a syntax, it is a method to communicate with the machine. So the programming language actually provides you a medium, a bridge between you and computer where you can replicate your solution, your steps for the computer. So it is always you who are going to create the solution on your pen and paper or inside your brain, and then you will try to replicate that particular solution on the computer. Okay, so before moving forward, I'm giving you one question. Okay, so this is the question that you have to solve and you have to drop your answers into the chat box. I'm going to start a Python series for you guys, okay, and I will upload that particular series on YouTube. It is going to be completely free for you guys, where I am going to teach you guys the Python programming language with the real world example and methodologies. Each and every concept I will explain with a very relatable real world example so that you will able to understand the concept easily and you will not going to forget it. Okay, so stay tuned on my channel. Now, if you like this particular video and if you understood what I wanted to convey, then please hit the like button, share this particular video with your friends who are actually afraid of the programming, and subscribe my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to press the bell icon so that you will get the future updates of my Python videos. Thank you so much everyone. Bye bye.